What's up you guys, it's Ben and welcome to my channel where we talk about everything there is relating to selling on Amazon. So finally I'm back from the holidays, back from taking some time off that was much needed, but it's now time to get back to work, back to selling on Amazon and preparing for the busy Q4. Well, already we're in Q4, but preparing mainly for the Christmas sales that are coming in the next couple of months. So for today's video, what I wanted to do today is talk to you about some of the products that I personally wouldn't advise you consider selling on Amazon. Now, before you turn off thinking that I'm going to be talking about restricted products, which essentially are products that Amazon make you provide more information in order to sell them, such as proof of purchases like invoices or some sort of safety documents, I actually prefer those products and actually advise my students to sell those products. I'm not actually going to be talking about restricted products today. I'm just going to be talking about products that, for the lack of a better term, are pain in the ass. They are problem products that will make you money potentially, but will cause you to do a lot more hard work that is simply unnecessary. Some of these products I had to learn the hard way not to sell them. So what I thought it would be a good idea is for me to share them with you. And I'm not saying that don't sell them, but personally I would advise on going for niches that are much easier to work with, much easier to make money on, etc, etc. So let's get started. The very first niche that I want to talk to you about is basically any niche that is extremely big, okay? So, and I have here a good example of a garden shed. Any niche that you can't effectively hold the product into your own hands is not the best niche to consider. And the reason why that is because yes, you can still make money by selling those items on Amazon, but the problem with those niches is that they will take up a lot of space in the Amazon FBA warehouses. So instead of actually thinking about the costs of fulfillment for that particular product, you will also have to take into the consideration the cost of storing those units. And unless you can sell them very, very fast, those storage costs are just going to pile on and pile on and pile on. And it's just not worth it, at least in my opinion. Yes, there are some good profit margins and yes, you can make money. However, in my opinion, there are just much easier products for you to get a hold of and start selling on Amazon and actually make even better money that way. And it's actually no surprise that majority of sellers on, let's say, a garden shed or anything that really that big and bulky will actually be doing their own fulfillment, which basically means they will fulfill those orders themselves, either from their own warehouse or using their own logistics provider or etc. So they're not actually going to be using Amazon's fulfillment center program because it's just going to be too expensive. And if you're not in, you don't have that capability, I would strongly advise going against it. Now, the next niches effectively that I would like to kind of let you know not to sell eventually is anything that is perishable. So not only just food, and I have here a good example of bananas, but also anything that will go out of date relatively quickly. Because very simple reason is you can able to sell a lot at very beginning, but if the sales drop off, you may find yourself that your products are completely out of date and Amazon will no longer allow you to sell those products. And that actually doesn't go just with food products. There are actually quite a few beauty items, various oils and various other things that have a best before date as well that you need to be aware of. So make sure that if you do sell those sort of products, that the best before date is way in advance and they don't go out basically out of use very quickly, because otherwise you will be stuck with a lot of inventory that you just simply can't do anything with. Now, the next sort of niches that I want to talk to you about is, for example, here I have Legos. Now, what do I mean by Legos? It's not just Legos itself, but basically it's any sort of big, well-known brand. And for the simple reason is it's just you're asking for trouble from Amazon. If you potentially start selling Legos or Nike products or Gymshark products or any other sort of very well-known brand or just a brand in general, Amazon can easily pick up on your listing, suspend it, and ask for explicit permission from the brand owner to sell those products. And if you're unable to provide that, then you will not be allowed to continue selling, and you actually may get into a little bit of trouble as well. So when you are considering of selling any item whatsoever, make sure it is not branded. Make sure it's not being protected by a trademark from a different company, so you don't have these issues going forward. And not just a trademark, but also design sort of trademark as well, because some companies may have a design patent as well. So you do have to do quite a bit of searching beforehand, and it's something that I do help my students with in the long term going forward, when you know, they're thinking of selling a particular product that may have some sort of patent. I teach them how to do that, and we'll talk about that in a separate video. Now, the next one, and I only got two more, is dresses, or for that matter of fact, is actually anything that has clothing related. Okay, and I actually made this mistake myself, because when it comes to selling on Amazon, what the main thing you want to do is look for differentiation, and there is no better niche than the clothing niche when it comes to differentiation, because there's so many different sizes, styles, colors and various other things that you can really make yourself stand out. The problem is that as well, because there are so many styles and so many sizes, first of all, your products may go out of style very quickly. These products have come in different shapes and sizes. As you can see, for example, women's clothing size, you will have, look how many different sizes you have for one particular clothing. So if you do want to sell a dress, you're actually not selling one dress, you're effectively selling 5 or 6 different dresses in different sizes, and it's just a nightmare for you to manage, okay? Because what you will find out is that some dresses sell well and you will be able to restock it and you will be able to make money, whilst others are just stuck there because nobody wants them, okay? And that is a problem. So and also the last thing actually when it comes to dresses is that dressing and fashion and everything in clothing, especially online, has one of the highest rates of refunds. There's so many big store brands that will actually tell you that they have about 30% of refund and return rate, and that would be a killer on your profit margins. You really want to avoid as many refunds as possible, and make sure that when it comes to selling dresses, you just avoid it. There are so many other products and niches out there that are much more simple, much easier to get into, and much easier to make money straight away. If you do want to get into the complicated, you know, selling clothes later on down the line, that's not a problem, but I definitely don't think it's a good beginner's item. Not even clothing, things like hats or gloves, anything that comes in different sizes is just a no-no for me, okay? Now, the next one that I want to talk to you about is basically trendy products, and I have here fidget spinners, okay? Now, why do I have them? Well, because trendy products are so difficult to predict. And for example, with the fidget spinner, if you were able to ride the trend, then that's brilliant. You were able to make a lot of money in a very short period of time. However, that trend has since died off, and therefore no longer you're able to sell, and now a lot of these people are just trying to sell them really cheaply to get rid of their stock. And if you actually look at fidget spinners, the trend in Google Trends report data, you can see that now they're pretty much non-existent. Nobody cares about them anymore, and there was just a one big spike in demand, and then it completely fell off. So if you are looking potentially into selling a trendy item, make sure that that trendy item continues that trend over a few years, okay? So let's say Christmas jumpers or wrapping paper or balloons or anything that will continue to sell in the long term, as opposed to just a one-off trend like an example like a fidget spinner. Because again, the last thing you really want to do and to happen is for you to be stuck with a ton of stock and you're unable to sell it at the price that you wanted, so you end up selling it below break-even price just to get some of your money back. So that's pretty much it for today's video. I really hope you guys found it useful. If you are thinking of selling on Amazon, then please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I do have a mentorship sort of course. I'll leave a link in the description below. Please don't forget to comment on any sort of ideas or topics that you would like for me to make a video on. And until then, speak to you soon. Bye bye.